Hello, everybody. Welcome back to High D Sports. My name's Ocean.
How's it? My name's John.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you guys live in the fourth quarter of the Bucks and Cowboys game. It's going on my TV right over here, so you might see some different colors on my face and stuff. But the Cowboys just scored their second touchdown on a fourth and short in the red zone, and it's not looking good for the Bucks. Right now, it is currently 31-6, and so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the wild card weekend, and we're going to talk about the results of each game, our predictions that we predicted in our wild card preview episode that aired last week. And we're going to kind of go through game by game. And we figured we could start now because this game is pretty much over,
Yeah.
However, can't ever count out Tom Brady,
True.
You can't count him out. So, if something crazy happens while we're watching this and we're live, we might just be like, oh my god, but just know that we're kind of watching. But we're gonna talk about this weekend. So this past weekend was the wild card weekend, right? Yep. 6 games total.
Yep.
There are 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday, and then 1 tonight. Okay, and we're gonna talk about the scores, talk about what happened, our predictions. The funny thing about our predictions is that overall, me and John are tied. But we'll talk about that. So let's kick it off with the first game on Saturday, man. Seahawks versus 49ers, right? This is a game that we both chose the 49ers to win.
Yep.
Right? And you predicted the score for this game, right? What was your score prediction? Do you remember?
My score prediction was 27-21. I thought that it was going to be actually, you know what? Up until really like the middle of the third quarter, the game was exactly how I thought it was going to be. It's going to be a tight game, like a rivalry game, very physical. And then I literally left my house to go do something for 2 seconds. I came back and they were up like 30-something, 17, and I was just like, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking at the box score here. Niners scored 17 points in the second quarter. They didn't score. Seattle scored 17 points in the second quarter to go up. Actually, they were in the lead going into half, and then just out of the half, Seattle was just flat, man. Yeah. For some reason, they just couldn't get anything going. They couldn't continue to build on the things that they were doing in the first half. They seemed very flat. So, but this game, like you said, went about what we were expecting. We were expecting the 49ers to win. I was expecting them to win in this fashion just because I think that even though I know I said I wanted the Chargers to win the Super Bowl, but realistically, I think the 49ers have a really good shot at winning the Super Bowl this year. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. Let's talk about a few stats here, though. First off, on the Seattle side of the ball, we have DK Metcalf with 10 receptions, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a pretty dang good game.
Yeah, he shows up in the postseason. He's had some really good postseason showings, and I just want to
got to get there first.
Yeah, I just want to shout him out because he does get a lot of hate, and he does get a lot of shit talking because of his antics and whatnot, but he performed, and when you perform, you can can't do whatever you want, but there's a little more leeway.
There's something that the commentator said. Something that the commentator said during the game that I remember was talking about how when like DK Metcalf, when he's locked in, he's one of the best receivers in the league. But lately, it seems like people get into his mind so much that like. No,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he just loses the focus that he needs. That's kind of what the commentators were saying, and I sort of agree. I mean, there's some games where it feels like he just disappears.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I don't know if that's play calling or like what you said, where they get into his head, but I would equate it to similar to Odell Beckham Jr. before he tore his ACL
Yeah.
the first time. He was one of the best receivers in the league, but sometimes people would just get into his head and he wouldn't be able to perform.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the ball, we also have another receiver on that side that performed just as well in Deebo Samuel. He actually had 6 receptions for 133 yards and 1 touchdown. He also ran 3 times for 32 yards. So he was instrumental in winning the game, and he was hurt last week, right? The last
He's
game
been
of
hurt
the
for a
season, I
while.
don't think he played. And I know he's been in and out, but just to see him back and him performing is good
Yeah.
for this offense. It's good because
Yeah,
now
it's
they can
good.
spread the ball out. No, go ahead.
Did you see that that formation where they literally had a wide receiver at running back, a fullback at tight end, and a running back at receiver?
No, I didn't. I
It
missed
was
that.
one play. It was one play. It was in the first or second quarter, and literally, I was sitting there. I was like, "Dang!" People were making memes about this when they traded for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But literally, Debo was lined up at halfback. Kyle Juszczyk was lined up at tight end, and
That's
Christian
crazy.
McCaffrey was lined up as the slot receiver. And the whole play, it was an RPO, a run. It was an RPO between a run with Debo or a slant on the backside to Christian McCaffrey. So I thought it was pretty funny that
Damn.
that
That people
was
were
able
making
to
memes
happen.
of it, and then it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to talk, like when we're talking about versatility on this San Francisco 49ers offense. The versatility is unbelievable, right? Like the Christian McCaffrey is the best dual threat running back in the league, and Deebo Samuel is basically the same thing. Like they're basically the
Yeah.
same thing. And then even Kyle Juszczyk, their fullback, he is known for catching footballs and
Yeah.
making plays. So and George Kittle is the best blocking tight end in football. So it's the versatility is unbelievable, and that's what's so scary, because with the mind that is calling those plays, you can do whatever you want. There's so much you can do with this offense, and I don't think we've seen it all, and that's why I think as of right now they're my pick for Super Bowl winners.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know if I say Super Bowl winners for me just yet, but what I would think of the 49ers is like they probably are the NFC champions already without even saying it.
I mean, we have yet to see how the Eagles do in the postseason. They got their first week bye, right? But just combined with the versatility of their offense and their defense's scary ability to just absolutely shut down offenses, I think the odds are in the 49ers' favor, in my opinion. So, Tom Brady just got sacked in the red zone. And come on, I was hoping for you to pull out some magic. I don't want the Cowboys to win. All right, so that was the 49ers Seattle Seahawks game. Obviously, the biggest story to come out of that game is Brock Purdy. Or team in general. Brock Purdy threw 18 completions on 30 attempts for 332 yards and 3 touchdowns. No interceptions, 1 sack.
The biggest question going into Wild Card Weekend, I think, for all the teams was how is Brock Purdy going to perform?
Yeah.
How
is he going to handle the pressure?
Yeah. And I think he handled it great. He played like how he normally plays, and that's what's scary is like he just went against like Seattle isn't necessarily great at anything really, but he played a pretty decent defense who's aggressive, had adversity, and was able to conquer that in a bigger stage than he's probably ever performed in.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a story going forward on if he can keep his cool, or when is he going to start making mistakes. I mean, he was the last pick of the NFL draft. You talk about rookie mistakes, right? Like, that's a real thing. Rookies make mistakes. So when is he going to start making mistakes, and how is that going to affect the team?
Yeah.
And whether or not they can continue to win, because they have won 11 straight, including the playoffs. Pretty incredible.
Absolutely crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the second game on Saturday, which was the Chargers and Jaguars.
Yep. This was my I didn't claim it to be my upset prediction, but this was the game where I predicted the Jags to win.
You did. I will say, you surprised me when you chose the Jags, and there was a point in the game where I was like, John, come on.
It's funny. There's a point in the game where I looked at the score and I was like, damn, I really said the Jags.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the final score says differently.
Yeah.
And it's, God, man, I watched, so I was on, oh no, I was home for that game.
Mm-hmm.
I was home for that game, and I can't remember what I was doing, but I think I might have taken a nap or something, because so Chargers went up 27-0 in the first half, and I thought it was over. They were going into the half, they were going to go into the half 27-0, and I was like, all right, it's over. Like, nobody's going to come back for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I would kind of turn the game off, stop paying attention. And then the Jaguars scored a touchdown right before the half. And I didn't really think anything of it, but it was a sign of what was to come, because in the second half, the Jacksonville Jaguars rallied and outscored the Chargers by 21 points to win the game 31-30.
I don't know what happened.
Go ahead.
No. I don't know what happened, but from everything that I heard was that it was Doug Peterson who said, "Hey, stick together, do what you got to do." And like, when I was watching some of the plays, I kind of turned the game off too myself. I had some other things going on at the time, but ultimately when it got down and I turned on for like the last 5 minutes, and I was like, "Whoa, this is completely different." Somehow the Jaguars literally dominated the game by the end of the game.
I ended up watching the last 2 minutes because I got an alert on my phone from the NFL app, saying that it was a 2-point game going into the final 2 minutes. So I was like, what? What are you talking about? And so I turned it on. I was like, oh my God, the Jacksonville Jaguars have the ball with 2 minutes left, and all they need is a field goal to win.
Yep.
I was shocked,
and
especially looking at stats.
Right. And then they had the crazy, like, I think it's so crazy to call the fourth down play that they did instead of doing a QB sneak to basically do an outside zone with Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Because everyone is so focused on, I'm gonna do the QB sneak with the tight end or someone else pushing him in the back, and eventually someone's gonna figure out how to stop that. I don't know, from time to time, but they did something completely different, and they got like a 15-yard run, set them up perfectly. If you're Doug Peterson, I don't know if he's the one calling the plays, but if he was, then that was a hell of a call. Crazy call.
That was an incredible play call. It's an incredible play call because the formation is actually a really old formation. It's a formation that was used back in the day, and they used to run out of it. Like, it's a run formation.
Right.
But it's something that has been lost since the team has become a pass-heavy team, right? Or not the team, sorry. The league has become a pass-heavy league.
Yeah.
So to see that formation, everybody's thinking those three guys in the backfield are just going to pile onto Trevor Lawrence and just get the first down. And so it sucked everybody in. And then Travis Etienne went around the corner, and I think it was longer than 15. I think he got like a 20 or 25-yard run.
20.
But something like it. You know what? I can look at his long. Yeah, it was a 25-yard run.
25.
So it was awesome. And I know I picked the Chargers to win the Super Bowl, but that was just because I picked them at the beginning of the year. But to see a team like Jacksonville rally and be able to overcome the deficit that they did, this is what makes football so incredible. It's like we say all the time, it's any given Sunday. Somebody like the Jacksonville Jaguars, who at one point during the season thought they're all was lost. I mean, they had the first pick in the draft last year, or this year. So they're the worst record in the NFL.
They're the worst team to ever. I just saw this graphic on Instagram after they won. They're the first team and since maybe the Super Bowl, since the Super Bowl started or whatever. I don't
Super
know
Bowl era.
what the so the Super Bowl era that has had the first overall pick and then won a playoff game in the next season.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I saw that graphic as well, and it's awesome. I mean, first year head coach or first year in Jacksonville, head coach Doug Peterson. Right. I mean, I think that you got to consider him for coach of the year. At this point.
At this point, I mean,
he's. I don't anticipate the Jacksonville Jaguars getting any farther, but I mean, who knows with what they were able to do again in this game? Who knows? So I just thought it was incredible to watch, and it was shocking. I do want to ask. I don't know if you had seen it because I missed it, but what happened with Joey Bosa? Because I've seen some clips of him slamming his helmet down into the ground, and I saw the clip of him like talking to the ref as he was coming off the field, and then the ref threw a flag, and I'm assuming that the helmet throwing happened right after that. But what is it that prompted him to talk to the ref and then cause him to get a flag?
Right. So I'm actually just as confused as you were because when maybe I just wasn't paying attention or something. I don't know why, but that happened. And that when that happened to me, I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then after the game, he was talking about how he needs to be in check, but also like he should be able to talk to the refs, And he was talking about how refs disrespect players and they don't care about if they make bad calls and stuff. So I assume it has something to do with them making a bad call, him going over to talk to them being, "Oh, well, you want to talk to me about that? Here you go. Here's a flag."
So from what I've seen, I didn't see the play because this happened before I turned the game back on. I didn't see the play, but from what I've seen, the play happened, and then he was walking to the sideline, and he was talking out loud. He wasn't like walking up to the ref, but the head ref was in the vicinity of him while he was talking out loud, and you can't hear what he's saying and you can't see his lips, but I'm guessing it's some kind of distaste with whatever just happened. The ref runs over to him and kind of gets in his face, in my opinion. Like he kind of he walks over to him and he's like, what did you like? I imagine it was something along the lines of like, what did you just say? Blah, blah, blah. And then you see Joey Bosa say a few more things, and his body language doesn't show any major hostility towards the ref. But I imagine what he said pissed off the ref, because then the ref pulled out the flag and threw it, and then it cuts to him slamming his helmet into the ground, and he gets another flag for that. So I don't know what happened, but I don't know. You gotta like you said, he's got to keep himself in check, and he's got to be able to stay cool and voice his frustrations or get his anger out in another way. But at the same time, man, the refs have way too much control in a game, in my opinion. Like their ability to affect the game's outcome is ridiculous, especially because refs are human just like us. They make mistakes, they miss calls, and they also have feelings. And I could totally see how if a player was talking shit to a ref and they get pissed off at them, they would throw a flag for that. Now, that's not what they're supposed to do, but refs are also supposed to call holding calls and pass interferences and all that other stuff. So it's not surprising to me that they would potentially make a mistake in that area too. So maybe one of you guys can enlighten us a little bit more on what happened and the situation that happened that resulted in Joey Bosa slamming his helmet and whatnot. But it's just a bummer to see, because Joey Bosa is such a great player, and you don't want to see that kind of stuff out of the NFL players. So. All right. Anything else you want to talk about on the Chargers Jaguars?
The only thing I want to talk about is I just realized, like, I always thought that Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa looked like very similar to each other because they are brothers, right? But I don't know. Maybe it's just because Joey Bosa grew out his hair again. But man, Nick Bosa is kind of good looking.
What? All right.
Not
John
in a
is a
not not in
fangirling
a
on Joey Bosa apparently.
not in a sexual, but like I always thought that they look similar, and I never understood why like people were like, oh,
Yeah.
Nick Bosa is this, and Joey, because I always thought they look exactly the same, but Joey Bosa is kind of raggedy looking.
No, he kind of has like a weird shaped nose and forehead,
Yeah.
and he's a little bit different looking.
Yeah.
And then Nick Bosa is a little, yeah, I guess you could call
Clean, he's a
him.
little bit more clean cut, I guess.
Okay.
Good looking.
He's a little more good looking. All right.
Yeah,
right, let's
hey,
move-
you said it.
Let's move on to Sunday. All right, we got 3 games to cover on Sunday. We got first game of the day was the Dolphins versus the Bills. This game surprised me very, very much because I thought that this game. Oh, what happened on the field? Somebody got hurt.
Russell Gage.
Oh,
Russell Gage got his head hit or something.
oh, not good. Oh, he's moving, so that's good. So this game surprised me because out of all of the games this weekend, this was the game that I thought was going to have the biggest disparity in points. I thought that the Bills were just going to absolutely rout the Dolphins because they're on their third string quarterback. And I know, maybe I should have learned from San Francisco's third string quarterback, but I didn't, especially with the Bills and the emotional roller coaster that they've been on and all of that coming into play. I expected them to just annihilate the Dolphins, but the Dolphins made it interesting, man. We were watching it at the station Sunday morning, and we were glued to the TV. It was pretty incredible. I actually thought to myself that the Dolphins might pull away, like they might end up winning. Just with the momentum that they had going into the fourth quarter. Oh man, this doesn't look good. They're pulling out the cart and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know
Russell
exactly
Gage
what
is
happened.
okay.
But it's kind of weird to say this, but I think something either happened with his leg or because he ran a route and he kind of fell while he was running his route, or he also got hit in like the back of the head at the play too. But I don't know exactly what happened to him. But anyways, for the Bills and the Dolphins game, for me, I was watching. I was like, dang, this is gonna be a close game.
Yeah.
Because for some reason I didn't really feel like the Dolphins were doing all these things. I really felt like the Bills were just shooting themselves in the foot. Like there was one play early in the game. It was a 4th down play. I think it might have been in the second quarter, and the quarterback throws a check down, and the guy makes 2 people miss to get the first down.
Yeah.
And that's like a 4th and 7 or something like that. And he literally threw a check down at the line of scrimmage, had 2 guys, and against one of them was Matt Milano, who is known for being like a sure
good
tackler. A good tackler in open space, and he missed the tackle, and that it was just mind blowing to me that the Bills, the team that feels like they're the team of destiny, was having these things, and this injury does not look good.
Yeah. No, but I understand what you're saying. I don't know. I think we got to give a little bit more credit to the Dolphins. Looking at the stats and the box score and whatnot, the Dolphins defense showed up, man. They came to play. They as a team they had 7 sacks, they had 5 tackles for loss, they had 2 interceptions, and they had a touchdown on the day. So, like the offense still had to put up 24 points, and so that's impressive too, but this defense is what gave them a chance. They really held the Bills in check and gave them a chance at winning, but unfortunately the Bills are just able to finish out on top. So I think this is ultimately going to benefit the Bills though. I think ultimately this is going to be, I don't want to call it a wake-up call, but maybe just a reminder that, hey, despite you guys being one of the best teams in the NFL throughout the regular season, despite all of the emotional things that you've had to overcome recently, despite everybody talking about you and whatnot, you still got to show up and you still got to perform. You still got to compete. You still got to win. So I'm hoping that this is kind of just a reminder to them that, hey, we still got to finish this thing. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to add fuel to the fire. And
Yeah.
the Bills are, who are they going to play? They play Jacksonville, right? Pretty sure.
I believe so.
And we're
Yeah,
going to get
I
a
believe
Bengals in
so.
Kansas City. But anyways, yeah, I think it was I thought it was a good game. It's probably the most intriguing, like besides the Jacksonville one, is probably the most intriguing game of maybe Sunday. I'll just say it was the most intriguing game of Sunday.
I can't say that, man. I can't say that because, in my opinion, the most intriguing game on Sunday is the next game that we're going to talk about, which is the Giants versus the Vikings. This
Right.
was my upset pick of the weekend, and I said that the Giants were going to come out on top, and they did. Final score being
Right.
31-24, and to me, this game was super entertaining and super like back and forth here and there, and then
Right.
it came down to the wire. It came down to the last drive, and it came down to classic Kirk Cousins doing something stupid to lose them the game.
So I missed like the end of the game. I don't know. Maybe I think I fell asleep or something during the day. But I missed the game because I missed the end of the game because I felt like even though the score and the stats and all that stuff looks like a contender game, I was watching it. I was just bored. I don't know why, but I was just bored.
Interesting.
With the game in general, but I'm not, like I said in our last video, to me that was it's a 50-50 toss up, and the people who showed, the Giants showed up. They showed up.
Yeah.
The good Giants showed up, and Kirk Cousins showed up too. But the Kirk Cousins who throws some sort of bad turnover or something at the end of the game, because like a turnover on downs to me is still a turnover.
Yeah.
So he does something to lose you the game.
Yeah. He
And then
definitely
afterwards,
did.
he said it was the worst loss of his career. So
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you lost to a team that has a bunch of receivers that weren't even on the team in the beginning of the year. So,
yeah,
yeah, I would say this was your worst loss for sure. Oh, sorry. But it was really, I don't know. Like I enjoyed watching the Giant for somehow this is gonna sound really bad, but I enjoyed watching the Giants begin to pick apart the Vikings and their defense
Yeah.
start flying around and all that stuff. Like that was exciting to me. So I do want to talk about one thing with this game because it's a topic that that is kind of heated right now within the NFL, and it has to do with roughing the passer calls.
Mhm.
Did you see the play that Dexter Lawrence got called for roughing the passer?
I did not. I was
So-
probably asleep while that happened.
Yeah, it's pretty bad in my opinion.
Mhm.
Dexter Lawrence was in his zero technique, rushed the passer, blew right past the offensive lineman. Kirk Cousins, admittedly, Dexter Lawrence's forearm hits the front of Kirk Cousins' face mask as he comes down, because like Dexter Lawrence is coming in like this, right? Because he's trying to play both potentially tipping the pass, but also trying to get to the quarterback, and so his left forearm hits Kirk Cousins kind of in the face a little bit, just like glances. It's a glancing blow. It's not like he fucking clotheslined Kirk Cousins. It's a glancing blow off of his face mask, and then his hands come around the body, and he starts taking him down, and he rotates. Kirk Cousins ends up getting the ball out of his hand while rotating, and then they just go to the ground, and Dexter Lawrence rotates with him, and then when they get to the ground, Dexter Lawrence literally just lets go of him. Like, they're both on the ground, and he lets go of him. He didn't slam him, didn't do anything. They called the roughing the passer, and I'm pretty sure that drive ended up in points. I could be wrong, but like, it's just I don't get it. I don't get what the refs are looking for with this whole roughing the passer thing, and it's just another case, in my opinion, of the refs affecting the game too much. And the whole time while watching a lot of these games this weekend, hold on, the Bucks might have just recovered an onside kick, and they did recover an onside kick. Wow. They still need three scores though.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of what the commentators have talked about this weekend has all been focused, or not all, but there's been a lot of talk about the expedited replay of games and of plays, and then be able to make decisions and make things quicker and it not affecting pace of play, right? Why is it that if we have the technology and we're implementing it in the ability to make decisions about whether or not a player was down before they fumbled the ball, or if their feet were out of bounds when they caught the ball, or like in this game, the Bucks and Dallas game, if a player ran out of bounds before they touched the ball, like, why is it that we can make quick decisions about that kind of stuff that 100% affects the game, sometimes wipes points off the board, but we can't make a determination about things that the refs call and overturn things that the refs call? I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's a disservice to the guys that play this game, because Dexter Lawrence, there's nothing he could have done differently. Like, I don't know how you sack a quarterback less intensely. Yeah. Like, he didn't violently throw him to the ground. He just spun with him and sat him down on the ground, and he sat next to him. They could have played patty cake on the way down.
I think that, of course, it's not the best situation, and so, in my opinion, some of it needs to be changed, because you can't land on a quarterback, but you can grab him by the hips and throw him on the ground. Like, you can whip his body to the ground, but you can't land on him. Like, to me, that's if you watch Aaron Donald, he literally will grab them by the hips and whip them into the ground, and it's like, how is that okay? But then a 300-pound man can't land with over whatever percent body weight on top of him. I think that, to me, that's the bigger question, is if you're going to say that this is roughing the passer, then why isn't other things roughing the passer? Right.
There's, and then, like you said earlier, it seems like the refs just don't care either. They don't care that they're missing calls. They don't care that they're making calls that dramatically affect the game. Right. I think there needs to be some accountability going forward. But we could save that topic for another day, because we still got 2 more games to get through. As far as the Giants and Vikings go, I'm stoked for the Giants, but I don't see them going any farther from here. All right. Last game of the day on Sunday was the Ravens-Cincinnati Bengals game. This game, I'm having trouble finding the box score from yesterday. Oh, no, it was yesterday. Okay. Sorry. So the game ended with the Bengals coming out on top. Score was 24-17. This is another game that we both kind of predicted was going to end up in a heavily favored on the Bengals side, but the Ravens made it interesting, man. Yeah, gotta give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, I was surprised that Huntley, that's his name, right? I was surprised that Huntley,
Tyler Huntley,
played, just because he didn't throw the ball in practice like a few days before. I knew Lamar wasn't going to play. Yeah. But I was surprised. I mean, I watched the majority of the game. I missed a little bit of the beginning of the game. But I was surprised that the Ravens held their own. I mean, the Bengals didn't completely walk all over them,
Yeah. No, you're right. That's what I was kind of expecting, but they did well. They gave it the best they could. Unfortunately, because they're missing some key players, they mostly Lamar Jackson, they couldn't pull it out. Their defense did give them a chance, similar to Miami, Their defense gave them a chance and kind of held the Bengals in check for a while, but
Yeah.
they just couldn't keep up on the offensive side of the ball.
And well, let's talk about this. Is how do you feel about their clock management at the end of the game?
It was weird.
They just had no rush, and I understand from a perspective that they didn't want to give the Bengals any time to be able to whatever. But because in my opinion, I think that what they're planning to do is they were going to score a touchdown and go for 2 points. Yeah. And they didn't want to leave any time to win the game, right? Because if you're realistic thinking about it, if you go out and you score a touchdown, it's 24-24 with 20 seconds left, the Bengals will probably run one play, and if it doesn't get a big chunk of big chunk of yards, they'll just kneel and go to overtime.
Right.
But for some reasons they took so long, they huddled. They just took so long to get the thing, and then that ended up hurting them at the end of the game.
Because it came down to finish.
Right. But despite all that, they still had a chance to win the game because the wide receiver misjudged the football off of a tip, which, it's hard to judge football off of a tip.
It is, 100%.
But he misjudged the football, and the football was literally right here. And he could have pulled it in, and obviously, some things happen where you just can't, but the Ravens still had a chance to tie the game.
I'm not going to lie. I thought that number 3 caught the ball. I thought when I watched it, I saw the tip, and I was like, oh, my God, he just caught that ball. So, they had a lot of chances, but ultimately they didn't play out. One thing I do want to talk about on the topic of the Ravens and the Bengals, though, is the whole Lamar Jackson situation. Obviously, the Ravens are out of the playoffs this year, so it doesn't really matter for this year, but I was overwhelmed with how many people were giving Lamar Jackson shit for not playing. And I just don't understand. I thought we were past that. I thought we were past forcing players to play when they're not ready. And it's frustrating. Yeah, it's frustrating to see that people are still holding on to that and still trying to give people shit for not playing when they're 100% healthy. And especially when it's like fans and stuff on social media, because you don't know. You're not in that facility. You don't know Lamar Jackson. You don't talk to him, and he doesn't talk to you about his injury and what's going on and why he can't play. So you're just speculating the whole time, and I can't wrap my head around people thinking that that a one game or one moment is more important than the guy's future. I mean, let's look at a pretty much a direct correlation, right? Like RG3.
Yeah.
Did
you see what RG3 tweeted?
Yeah. Which I think this is like another great RG3 moment as far as player advocacy and whatnot. He posted a picture of his gruesome injury in a playoff game, and why was it a playoff? It was
playoff game against Seattle.
Yeah, that picture was from the playoff game, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So he was playing without a PCL and without an ACL. And so he suited up for his brothers, for that brotherhood, and that, everybody's saying, and it cost him his career. It 100% cost him his career to play in that game. Because had he not played and taken the proper steps to recover, get surgery, or whatever he needed to get healthy, he could have come back the next year and continue to be a great asset to the team. And who knows what had happened with that Washington team. Mm-hmm. So it's really frustrating to see that we're not past that yet, especially with a guy like Lamar Jackson, who has nothing to prove. There's nothing he needs to prove to anybody. He is a NFL MVP. He has led the Ravens to a winning season every season that he's been a starter. So I don't understand why people are giving him so much crap. I get being bummed and upset about it, but like there's people hating on him, like throwing him in the dirt, and I just don't get it. So I just want to say to you guys, like, safety should always be number one, no matter what. Yeah. I understand it's a playoff game. There's a lot on the line, but we got to prioritize these people's safety. at all times, especially after what happened in the Bills game, the Bills Bengals game.
Right.
So that's all I want to say. I just want to say, like, hey guys, let's move past this. Let's be better, because we are better, especially as a sports community, a fan base. Let's be better about this stuff. Let's let Lamar choose when Lamar should come back, not us.
Right. Right. And a quick side note on the whole Lamar Jackson thing. Washington, please, if you can, if he becomes a free agent, do everything you can to get him, because holy cannoli.
Give him the money.
Give him all
Let's
the money.
go.
Give him all the money. Give him all the money.
Give him our entire cap space. I don't even care. We don't. Yeah, just give it all. All right. This brings us to our final game, which literally just concluded about 30 seconds ago. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Dallas Cowboys came out on top with a score of 31-14, and kind of bummed about this one. Don't like the Cowboys, obviously, since we're Washington fans. But in reality, if we're talking about reality, it's not that surprising.
Yeah, wouldn't say I'm bummed about this game. Obviously, we wanted the Buccaneers to win, and I'm a little bit more bummed just because my record for the for the playoff stuff that we're gonna keep track of. There's another loss to me.
Loss in the column, yeah.
Right. But I after watching the game, man, the Bucs did not deserve to win this game. Like, even if they did, even if this magical thing happened, they did not deserve to win this game. Dallas won this game. There's no.
They dominated in the first half.
It wasn't that Tampa Bay lost the game or Tampa Bay made so many mistakes, shot themselves in the foot. Dallas won this game straight up, and I can respect that. I can respect that. I
can. I don't like it, but I can respect it. Dallas kind of dominated in pretty much every category that I'm looking at here on the stuff. So, congrats to you, Dallas, but that's it.
You got to go play the 49ers.
That's all you got.
That's all you got. How it's going to turn out.
49ers are about to remind you of what the Dallas Cowboys truly do in the playoffs, and that's one and done. Goodbye.
Right. So I just want to point out, and I know I mentioned this, I don't know maybe in what episode, but I think we're talking about it in the college football national championship one. This is another year where neither one of the 7 seeds won.
Yep, that is true.
And take with what you want with that information, but
it was Bucks.
It was the Bucks were 4.
Bucks? Oh, sorry.
The 7 seeds were the Seahawks and the Dolphins.
Seattle and
neither one of them won their game. So a 7th seed has not won in the playoffs yet.
It'll be interesting to see who becomes the first one.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty interesting. Are we going to do predictions for this next week upcoming?
Yeah, so what I want to do real quick is just review our guesses, right? So, the first game of the weekend, we both chose the 49ers. That means me and John are both 1-0, right? Second game of the weekend was the Jacksonville Jaguars and LA Chargers. John chose the Jaguars to win. I chose the Chargers to win. That makes John 2-0, me 1-1.
Yep.
Miami Buffalo, we both chose Buffalo to win. That brings our record to John 3-0, me 2-1. Not looking too good for me there, but the next game, I chose the Giants to win. John chose the Vikings, so that brings us both to 3-1. And then the Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens, we both chose Cincinnati, so it brings our record to 4-1. And then Dallas and Tampa Bay, we both chose Tampa, so we both got another L there. So at the end of the weekend, our records are 4-2. Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, not too shabby. So let's talk about this upcoming weekend. All right. Do you have the let's see if I can pull it up to division. Hold on.
I don't know what the times look like, but the games
I'm looking at them right now. Go ahead.
Well, I'll just say I know what the games are. I just don't know what order they're in.
All right, so NFL divisional round. We got 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. The first game of the weekend is going to be the Jaguars Chiefs game. First Chiefs got the first round bye. They play the lowest seed, which is the Jaguars. It happens on Saturday, January 21st at 11:30 a.m. I don't know. I don't
can't.
know.
I will be genuinely surprised if the Jaguars pull this out, but I would be happy for them because they're still that team that's peaking at the right moment. But I gotta go Chiefs.
I'm gonna go Chiefs as well. Sorry, Jaguars. It was incredible to watch you guys beat the Chargers, but unfortunately, I think it ends here. So Chiefs win that game. Second game on Saturday is on the NFC side. We got the Giants versus the Eagles. This happens at 3:15 p.m. on Saturday.
This is an interesting game, honestly. This is an interesting game. If the same Giants that show up this past weekend show up next weekend, then I feel like they're going to win, but I'm still going to choose the Eagles.
You're going to go Eagles? All right, I'm going to do... at the risk of us being the same throughout the rest of the picks, I'm going to go Giants, actually, on this game. Because the Eagles have had a week off, and I think that's going to hurt them. I don't think that's going to help. I mean, sure, it helps with player health, but I think that the Eagles are a team that thrives on rhythm and momentum. And because they had that break, I think that the Giants coming off of the high of beating the Vikings and being the underdog winners, I think the Giants are going to pull out an upset and beat the Eagles, and we're going to kick those dirty birds out of the playoffs in the divisional round. They're not even going to win a game. So
that's fair.
I'm taking the G-men. All right, Sunday. We got 2 games. First game is at 10 a.m. It's going to be the Bengals versus the Bills. Man, this game is going to have a lot of time talked about leading up to this weekend. Everybody is going to be talking about this game. Everybody. It's going to be all over the news. It's going to be all over ESPN and SportsCenter and all that stuff. This is what everybody's going to talk about this week. The question is, who's going to win, John? Who's going to win this game?
Man, this is probably the hardest game to choose probably in all the playoffs, honestly. I'm gonna stick with the Bills. Like I said, I think they're the team of destiny right now. And the fact that they're at home, which means I think there's a decent chance that Damar Hamlin will be at the game. So I think
was he not there this weekend?
I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that question. I assumed that he would be, but I don't actually know the answer. So maybe one of you guys can enlighten us on whether or not he was there. But I'm gonna agree with you. I really do think the Bills are headed to the Super Bowl, and if Damar Hamlin is there at that game, I don't see how the Bengals can overcome all of that. But I think it's going to be a good game, though. I do think it's going to be a good game. I think the Bills are going to have to really try and really fight, and the Bengals are going to give them all they got. But I do think the Bills will win. So, all right, Sunday night or 1:30 p.m. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, these are all in Hawaii Standard Time. This is not Eastern Time. So add 3 hours for West Coast, 4 hours for Central-ish, and then 5 hours for East Coast. So at 1:30 p.m., the 49ers will take on the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm going to... 49ers are winning. Yeah, 49ers are winning. The Cowgirls and the Eagles are going to get kicked out of the playoffs in the divisional round. Y'all out of here. All right? Like, good job, Dak. You probably secured your job for at least one more year in Dallas with your 4-touchdown performance against a very, very lackluster Buccaneers team, but yeah, you're done, buddy. All right. Yeah. Your team is done. So.
Okay, so give me
those are our predictions, man.
Score. Give me
score of the week.
One game. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna go with the Giants-Eagles game. because I chose the Giants to upset. And I'm going to go with a score of 27-21.
Okay.
Actually, check that. I'm going to go 28-17. My bad.
28
I'm going
to
to go
17.
28. Giants 28-17 with at least one Giants defensive touchdown.
Okay. Oh, so you're going that deep. Okay. Okay.
I'm
gonna predict the Bills-Bengals game.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be 34-31.
Ooh. All right.
With the Bills on top.
All right. I like
I'm
that.
not saying it's gonna come down to a field goal, but I feel like it's most likely to come down to a late game field goal.
I could 100% see that. 100%.
So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
those
are our predictions headed into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We had a pretty crazy wild card weekend. A lot of fun watching those games. Looking forward to some more great games this weekend. And like I said, there's gonna be a lot of talk about this Bengals Bills game. So
100%.
John, as of right now, who do you got winning the Super Bowl?
I think the Super Bowl is gonna be Bills 49ers, and the Bills win.
Oh, okay. I got Bills 49ers too, but I think the 49ers end up winning. Just their defense is ridiculous. So all right, we'll see how that changes after this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, or if it does. Thank you guys for joining us. Keep an eye out for another episode coming out on Thursday. It's going to be something new to the channel, a new sport that we're going to talk about. So keep an eye out for that episode, and thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. We love you. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Check out our social media links down in the description below, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.
Deuces.